Okay, Malik Quiñones. Looks like a nice Puerto Rican prospect. We're going to talk about him and really kind of break down what I think about him in this video. We're going to take a look at his last fight. Also, we're going to try to break that down and a little bit something that happened, or was said rather, in the post-fight interview, which I thought was very, very professional and unbiased by the commentators who actually interviewed him. But first, real quick, we're going to do a little PSA. Now that I have your attention. Public service announcement. Listen, if you're here because you want expert opinions of a, historian of Puerto Rican boxing, you want to know what a catch and shoot is, you want to know about training regimens, you want to know about cutting off the ring, fighting off the back foot, and all of that, well, then maybe this is not the place for you, right? And also, my takes are not wild takes, they're my takes, right? You might think they're wild, but they're not wild. And lastly, just because I'm Puerto Rican doesn't mean you should subscribe to me, and neither do I expect you to. If you're Dominican, Black, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, Mexican, you know what? That was racist. Mexican, whatever it is, tú estás aquí porque tú quieres estar aquí. You're here because you want to be here. Me, I watch what I want to watch. And if I don't watch what I don't want to watch and what I don't like to watch, right? And maybe you feel comfortable because I am more casual than the rest of them. And it maybe sounds like a conversation that you might have with your friends rather than you're sitting there, listening to color commentating. You could go listen to a different million other podcasts for that and YouTube programming for that. You don't have to come here, and you're here because you want to be here. And I appreciate those that are here. Again, those are my takes. And talk to me in the 90s when I was a teenager, I would have sounded like an expert of those guys. Ever since then, I fell out of boxing because, boxing is corrupt and I fell out of love with it. But I've been recently getting back into it. And all of these young guys like Polanco, Malik Quiñones, Juanmita, Pac-Man, Collazo, these are all, Naji, these are all new to me. Right? I don't know anything about them. I'm learning and I'm researching and letting you know what I like and think about them and what I think their trajectory should and might be. And we can learn about them together if you never heard of them, right? So now that I'm off that soapbox, let's talk about Malik Quiñones and his last fight he had in Puerto Rico in Miguel Cotto Promotions. Listen, the kid, I like the kid. He looks like a kid that should be growing up to be doing my taxes. And I say that with utmost respect. I did reach out to the kid and told him congratulations, and also that, be careful. Let them move you carefully because you got some talent. They put him against a guy who was 3-0 and 3 knockouts. They're not trying to move this kid light as of right now. Because if you think about all the other guys in Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico and Puerto Rican descent, the way they've been moving them from the very beginning with upside down records. This is not what they're doing. They're doing with Malik. They kind of moving Malik like they know they got something and they want to see what that is, right? Now this guy might be 3-3 with a bunch of taxi cab drivers, but he's still 3-3, right? And they're moving him like that. They're like, well, let's see, how we can move him. And he's 22 years old. So that's another thing he has that these other candidates or prospects, I should say, don't have is age on their side, right? They're 28, 29, sometimes even some of them pushing 30, right? But this guy is 22. He can develop. He can take your time, pump the brakes a little. You know what I'm saying? So I like that about him. So again, David Sotelo, Mexican descent, the rivalry, Puerto Rican, Mexican. There I go again, bro. I'm sorry, y'all. It is what it is. Aquí está Malik Quiñones. Let me see. There's his record, right? 2-1-1. Now, here's the thing. Malik gave Juanmita, in my opinion, the best fight that he's had, right? The roughest fight that he's had. And I'll tell you where I think each one of them now ranks amongst each other, right? In comparison to at the end of this fight. Listen, also, if you guys don't listen to Puerto Rican commentating, you're missing out. Porque esta gente tan loca. Mira, desde el principio sale Malik. Tengo Juanmita en la mente. Malik comes out swinging. I like his stance, and this Mexican is coming straight out to knock out Malik also. I'm wondering, does Malik's team believe in his power more than his record shows? He only has 3 fights up to this point, right? And now he has officially 2 stoppages, but we're going to see how this goes out. I mean, look, He's going to war. I like that he's throwing his punches tight, that he's not looping them too wide. Sort of like that overhand that the Mexican just threw. So Soleto, right? Soleto, that's his name. Malik has technique, but his technique in this fight is to brawl. Sort of, he's doing sort of an impersonation of boxer puncher Arturo Garis, Subriel Matias, sort of an impersonation in a sense. And I say that again with the highest regard of what that is, right? They kind of held him through that uppercut there. The referee didn't say a damn thing. I mean, look, they're going to war. He's not afraid to engage. That's another thing. If he can keep his winning streak alive and get more in tune and get some fights in the States, his style is fan friendly. I mean, you're going to go to see a Malik Quiñones fight, you might get this. But we're going to get to that because he says something different at the end. I mean, he's trying to work the body. He's digging in, right? So he was looking to dig into the body. I like that when fighters actually dip and they look to see where the body is and they try to dig in. They're not just like flailing, like he's dipping and trying to go around that guard, trying to go against those low elbows, right? Because the Mexican was bringing down his elbows. Look, again, leading with the head, right? Got to be careful with that in the long run. Dipping some punches. I like that. He said he was going to work on stuff like that, like trying to dip punches, slip punches, stepping away from the offense that the opponent is bringing right there, but didn't pull back. Nice combinations. Kind of falls in too much for me right now at this stage in his career. Like he's falling in too much and kind of stopping his own momentum. They're trying to wake up the kid in the corner. Again, they're going to war. I mean, again, these are young prospects. These are kids in the game. Kids, 22 years old, young men, but kids in the game, right? They're not experienced like Xander Zayas is at 22. They're just starting to get their feet wet. So it looks rather amateurish at times, and I understand that, and I'm looking at it through that eye. Malik has been training, I think, with Collazo as well. Nice overhand. I mean, he's just working. Malik is just working. There's nothing here for me to say except that he's shooting the hooks to the body, hooks up top, keeping his hands busy. There's not a lot of finessing or finesse work being done. It's a lot of hard work right there with the right hook. He's hook friendly, uppercuts down to the body. Pressure, 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 pressure. That's all he's doing. He's keeping his opponent on the back foot. There's so much pressure being put on by Malik. Look, see, like he just walking to his opponent, right? Pat, pat, take a step. He's dipping, trying to, find his range. He's not shooting his punches from too far out, so he understands his range a little. I want a little more of the head movement. He's just kind of walking into a lot of shots sometimes. Again, fan friendly. And right here, that's when they stopped the fight. Now let's take a look at that again, because I didn't understand why the ref stopped the fight there, but I kind of understand maybe, right? So here he is, right? Malik is working. He's connecting, but the kid is throwing back. Malik connected right there hard. Again, but right there, they both connected. Malik, again, working the body. Kid's trying to work the body back. And he almost, right here, right, he catches one. And maybe here he looked like he didn't want to fight anymore. And that's what the ref stepped in. The kid, I think, just made a mental mistake. I don't know how they had it scored up to that point. They didn't say. At least I didn't hear. But it looked like el árbitro posiblemente pensó que cuando él se viró así y caminó, que él no quería pelear más nada. Like he didn't want to fight no more. Like he resigned. So the kid kind of made a mental mistake. Un error mental. Tú sabes que se confundió en el momento and then he walked off. You know what I'm saying? And that he has no one to blame but himself for that. Malik doing those old school tricks, putting weight on the back of the neck when he's above his opponent. Here's the interview. I like this interview. They ask him good questions. And then the dark-skinned gentleman with the glasses, with the bald head, he asked the best question out of all, and we're going to take a look at that.
Gran actuación cogiste las cosas donde las dejaste con Juanmita López. Mucha gente pensó que era cosa de una noche o que solamente era ese momento.
For those of you that don't speak Spanish, he's telling him, you picked up right where you left off with Juanmita in the war, and people were wondering if that one fight was just an anomaly, that you weren't going to be able to do that again.
Demostraste que no, demostraste que traes ese boxeo aguerrido, esa fuerza. Era el plan en todo momento.
He's asking him if that was the plan the whole time for this fight, that warrior style, that come forward style, that pressure style.
¿Traer ese tipo de pelea?
El plan era traer una forma diferente, de que las personas no me vieran como me vieron el 5 de abril, que en ese momento fue un plan hacer una pelea aguerrida, como ya había dicho. Esta era hacer una pelea más limpia, tratar de no quedarnos mucho, bajarnos mucho, arreglar esos errores que cometimos el 5 de abril.
Now, here's where the question comes in that I'm going to tell you that's a really good question. Because right there, the way he answered that last question, where the guy, the heavyset guy asked him, is that the plan, right? Coming in fast and furious, pressure, 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 warrior style. He said the plan was to come in, slip more, fix the errors from the last fight, box more, not to bring to fight a cleaner fight than the last time, you know, be a little bit, in a sense, he didn't say it, but in a sense, be a little slicker, right? Be a little cleaner. This is where it gets in. This is why I say sometimes good interviewing is needed, right? When there's no biases.
Bueno, no lo notamos mucho. No lo notamos mucho. Viniste a hacer ese estilo de pelea nuevamente. Me gustó.
He said, we didn't see any of that you said you were going to do, basically. That's what he said. We didn't see all of that. You did come and you fought a warrior fight like the last time, which I liked very much.
Me gustó más que la primera vez. Te pregunto, Malik Quiñones, además de ese estilo de pelea, ¿hace otro?
Because, and that's a small question, he's saying, Malik Quiñones, aside from that style we just saw the last two fights, do you have anything else in your bag? Do you have something else to offer? Do you have other ways to win? Because remember, Malik just said he wanted to fight a cleaner fight. That was the plan, fight a cleaner fight, a slightly slicker fight, fix the errors that we did in the last one. And he's telling him, I didn't really see that. So that's what he's following up. Do you have that in your bag? Which is a bold-ass question to ask when you have a prospect that they're trying to build up. And you're like, well, we're going to ask these questions. And that's the kind of questions you need.
Sí, puedes jugar las tres diferentes, media, corta y larga.
Sí, sí. Puedes boxear, puedes llavear, puedes hacer eso. Puedes tener algún día un round de estudio.
Claro, pero a 4 asaltos no hay break para un round de estudio. Ya eso se demostró el 5 de abril, no hay round de asalto.
He's basically saying, yeah, I have a short game and a long game. You know, there's going to be a different style for different style of fighting. And these 4-round fights, I don't got time for that. We just got to go out there, work, and get the rounds in. And he's saying to him, you know, so you're saying, will we ever see you study a round or two and try to see what your opponent, you know, is doing? He was like, when the fights get longer, when we have a chance to drop a round or two and studying the guy, seeing what he's doing, kind of taking my time, we'll do that then. But for right now, this is what I'm doing, right? Which kind of contradicts what he said in the beginning, that he wanted to fight a cleaner fight, but then at the same time he's saying that he has to fight these kind of fights in a 4-rounder. So I'm not sure which one it is, but that guy wasn't letting him off the hook.
Que sea para estudio. Ya cuando sean peleas más grandes, 6, 8 saltos, 10, podemos botar un round o dos en el estudio, pero en estos momentos 4 saltos no estamos para hacer estudio.
Malik, sin duda alguna para mí, y quizá para la mayoría de los fanáticos, eres parte de lo que posiblemente es la pelea del año en Puerto Rico. Ahora en esta pelea te ganas una medalla de WBO World Class Prospect. ¿Qué significa para ti?
So basically right now they're just asking him, you know, how does it feel to be, you know, world-class prospect, things like that. And you were possibly in the fight of the year for Puerto Rico in the last fight with Juanmita, you know, so on and so forth and whatever. We get the gist. Now, does he have what it takes? Listen, if he can perfect that style, if he's gaslighting us and he doesn't really have much of a different style of fighting he can switch to, if that's his style, he has to tighten up a few things, right? But he's only fighting 4-rounders. This is his 4th fight. I don't expect much. It looked like his gas tank ran out a little bit. His punches got a little sloppier. His head movement got a little sloppier. But he has the will. He does have the IQ. I see it when he's looking for his punches. When the guy's ducking lower than him, he's putting weight on the back of his neck, which is a trick that you do to get tired out your opponents. He knows what he's doing in there. He's thinking. I like that. He needs to go ahead and just put it all together now in the gym, in the training camp, in the conditioning. right? Because he's tight with his punches and his defense. He just ran out a little bit out of gas. He should train like he's going for 10 rounds, so these 4-rounders don't seem like anything to him. Not train for 6 rounds, train for 10. That way, these 4-rounders are easy. But anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you think. Does Malik Quiñones look like a prospect to you that you're willing to follow and look for? Or does he look average to you? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.